this series justifies him spending quite so much money on vinyl.
Hello and welcome here at the Fortress of Samitude for the first ever inaugural episode of What Records Does Sam Have? He's got loads of records, so what has he got? Why has he got so many? It's just some of the questions I'm going to answer. Basically each week I'm going to pick a band or a genre that I like from my vast collection back here, and I'm just going to show off a few of the good ones. I thought I'd start today with my first ever favourite band from when I was a teenager. I'm wearing the t-shirt. It's Morbid Angel, isn't it? They're a death metal band. They're from Florida and they're just brilliant. So what I've done here, I've put together a little collection of some of my, well, these are all of my Morbid Angel records basically, and I'm going to talk about them and how good they are. So first up, Blessed of the Sick. That's right. Oh, I'm feeling a bit peaky, feeling a bit ill. Oh, but good news, I'm blessed by Morbid Angel. This is the reissue they did a couple of years back, remastered. Look at these guys. Oh, what strong heavy metal men they are. Look at them all looking all serious and that. This is probably my favourite Morbid Angel album of the lot. It's just on regular black vinyl. It's just really heavy and cool. And when I first heard this, when I was about 15, this literally blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, where does this music live? Where does this come from? The first one of theirs I ever heard was Blessed of the Sick, that's what it's called. And I fell in love with it. I just thought it was great. It's so heavy, it's kind of noisy. The production is beautiful on this, by the way. If you're into production and stuff, it's super clear. This was recorded in 1991. Got some top track names on here. You know what I'm talking about. We got Rebel Lands. Yeah, they're the lands where all the rebels live, haven't we? We've got Day of Suffering. That's a shit day, isn't it? That's the day after you've had a curry that's disagreed with you. The next day, that's the Day of Suffering, isn't it? Unholy Blasphemies. Oh, mate. Most blasphemies are unholy. I mean, it could just be called blasphemies. You don't need to do that. The Ancient Ones. That's about the age of the people who like this sort of music nowadays, isn't it? So yeah, that's Blessed of the Sick. Interesting fact, all Morbid Angel albums are actually written and recorded and released in alphabetical order. So the first one was called Abominations of Desolation, which I don't have. And this is Blessed of the Sick, B. Next up, we've got a lovely one, as I said, alphabetically named, so this is all over the shop at the moment. This is Domination. That's right, it's a death metal theme, it's Domination. This is an original pressing. These are very hard to find. You'll probably notice this is a little bit tattier than the first one that I showed you because it is an original pressing, that's why. It's really, really good. Again, this was the last album they did with the original lineup before they changed. Once again, we've got some really good song titles on this heavy piece of heavy music. Just the first track's just called Dominate, which, you know, it's kind of sums it up quite nicely. Who they're dominating, we don't know, just whoever's at the gig, I suppose. We've got a song called Eyes to See, Ears to Hear, which is nice, you know, and then the follow-up song, I suppose they could have called like Mouths to Speak, Nose to Smell, Fingertips for Fiddling. I mean, you know, they're giving it some of that. There's a song on this called Nothing But Fear. And that's, you know, that's a tough time you're having if it's nothing but fear all day. Just scared of everything when you're walking around. We've got a lovely song called Dawn of the Angry, which I like a lot because, you know, sometimes you're not just angry in the afternoon or the evening. Sometimes you're having a little bit of a tizzy, you know, in the morning. So it's the Dawn of the Angry. What else have we got on here? Hate Work. That's the last song on the album, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there is a death metal band, called Hate Work, who were probably named after track off of this album. Now the reason I like this was actually the first non-black disc that I ever bought. So this is a beautiful one. Oh, it's green. There's a song on this called Where the Slime Live, and I think this is like slimy. It's supposed to look all slimy, and I'll tell you what, it looks cool, sounds cool, is cool. What a brilliant album. I love it very, very much. That's Domination by Morbid Angel. Next up, we've got Morbid Angel's newest offering. Now, this one is a brand new album. This is Kingdom Distained, or Kingdoms Distained with the S. Now, have a look at that album cover. I mean, that is a proper bit of heavy metal album cover in that. There's like a big demon, and he's just smashing everything up, and he's like made of bits of castle and stuff. The band logo is actually so dark, it's hard to see. I like that because that is metal, isn't it? That's very metal. On the inside of this one, we just get a lovely double spreader. 2 big demons. How's about that? Oh, we're having a terrible time today. We're going to break everything up. Have some of that, mate. Now, these men are probably in their mid-50s now. Probably nearly their 60s, I'd say. I mean, first album's like 88, 89, I think. And they're still sticking strong with the theme. Don't deviate from the theme. That's the rule with death metal. So the first song on this album, no joke, is called Piles of Little Arms. Yeah? So they've built some piles and they've gone, should we put the big arms in? And they've gone, no, only the little arms, please. Piles of little arms. The third song is called Garden of Disdain. Now, it's nice to go to a garden, isn't it? And just be like, I hate everything in this garden. This is a terrible garden. I don't want to be here ever again. I'm really upset about the contents of this garden. Yeah, we've got From the Hand of Kings. That's one of the tracks. That's a nice one. You know, they're not interested in things that have come from other body parts of kings. They don't want stuff kings have spat out. They don't want stuff kings have kicked. They only want stuff from the hands of kings. Now, this album I thought was pretty good. I'm not going to say it was brilliant, but I am going to say it was pretty good. The production for me is a little bit odd because even as a drummer, I was like, the drums on this are way too loud. This is good though because it's like proper old-fashioned Morbid Angel again. So this is nice. I recommend that if you like modern death metal made by old men. This is a good one. They're all good ones. They're all good ones anyway. Next up, another favourite of mine, once again alphabetically named. This is Covenant. This is a gorgeous album. A lot of people say that this is the best Morbid Angel album. I've got to say, no way. Blessed are the Sick for me. The second album is the best one. This is damn good though. I mean, this is really nice. And you can see on the front of this, oh, there's some witchy, wizardy business going on. I've got to say, compared to the album cover for some of the others, this is a pretty standard, basic like setup. You know, it's the early 90s. You got a bit of witchcraft going on. My girlfriend at the time, when I got this for the first time, when we were both at high school, she was a witch. And she had a book of practical spells. And one of them is a spell you could use to fix your computer. And that really made me laugh. And I imagine here, that's exactly what Morbid Angel are doing. They're having some problems booting up the computer, so they've gone, hey, get the candles out. We're gonna get it all going on. This really does have some absolute bangers on it. Let's have a little look at them. I tell you what, they're good at moody photos, Morbid Angel, if nothing else. Look at that. Oh, they mean business. Ah! Yeah, great songs on this. There's a song called Rapture. In Rapture Born Again, it's about heaven and that, but evil heaven. Imagine evil heaven. You're going up to heaven, but you're not allowed to come. That's what that one's about. The second song is called Pain Divine. You know, because some people like pain. It's really fun for them. So that's what that one's about. The third song is called World of Shit, and then in brackets, The Promised Land. Now, it would be really upsetting, wouldn't it, if you were promised a lovely land and you got there and it was all shit. And I think that's what they're getting at. It's deep, it's meaningful. It's Morbid Angel. They know what they're talking about, don't they? A lot of these are actually songs that they wrote a very long time ago. Morbid Angel were great. Their very first split EP had a load of songs on that then became songs much later. So this is the third album. And I know that Angel of Disease on side 2, that is one of the very first songs they ever did. It's one of the ones early on. They didn't actually record it properly until they made this, their third album. This is a very, very solid death metal album. Once again, just absolutely beautiful production, just wonderful stuff going on here. The last track is called God of Emptiness. I particularly like that one. I mean, I just like this. I recommend this if you like death metal. It's good. Next up, we've got a very rare Morbid Angel vinyl. This is actually a 12-inch single. Look at that bloody... Oh, look at that. There's a demon there, and there's all those people there going, oh, let's poke him in the bum. And he's going, hey, don't poke me in the bum. I'm just here doing some demony things. Leave me alone, mate. And they're like, no, he's hilarious. But if you look closely at his face, I think he's not happy about it. He doesn't like being poked. Anyway, this is just a 12-inch extended single, basically. This was... I bought this at a Morbid Angel concert many, many moons ago. Pretty rare, pretty hard to get hold of. It's basically remixes of some Morbid Angel songs to be honest, the original versions are better usually, which is why these sorts of things are kind of a little bit much of a muchness. It's got God of Emptiness and Sworn to the Black from Covenant, both remastered, and then you've got, yeah, so you get the original versions and then the remixed versions on the other side. So it's got, oh, I've done a little burp. It's the demon, he's made me do a burp. I recommend this if you're only a big fan and you're like, I want to hear some other stuff. I want to hear some Morbid Angel songs I like, but not as good because they're kind of remixed and made into weird things. How about that? So yeah, that's just a fun one because it's interesting looking. And finally, we got the PS2 Resistance. This is a brilliant piece of work, this one. Many people use this album as the birth of proper modern technical death metal. They say this album is the one that you have to get. Now this one is actually one of the first vinyls that I bought early on, and it really sparked a love of vinyl collecting in me. I'm a very, 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 very big fan of this wonderful album. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it like this and reveal it. This is the album Altars of Madness by Morbid Angel. Now this, you may see here, is a picture disc. You can see all these, oh, these poor unfortunate souls. They're all caught in this vortex. They're like, oh, what have I done to deserve being on the front of this Morbid Angel album? Oh, I must have been a horrible person when I was alive to be in this Morbid Angel album. And then on the other side of this, you just get to see them looking like absolute bad lads. Look at those guys. Oh, they're all grumpy and serious because it's the late 80s and that's what you had to look like. There they are. Whoa, it's Morbid Angel. Now this, as I said, this kind of blew a lot of minds when this came out, because one of the things I've always said about Morbid Angel is that the production on their albums is about 500 times better than the production on other death metal albums at the time. And this is Altars of Madness, and this was really like a big kick in the teeth for all death metal fans, because not only is it produced really, really well, it's also performed so well. And a lot of death metal from this time, like Death Angel for example, they got really good, but their early albums are sloppy and they just can't play very well. But Morbid Angel come out and they were like, guess what, not only are we going to take this seriously, we're going to add a load of progressive musical elements to it. Maze of Torment, that's a good name for a song. It's a maze. Usually you go down Hampton Court, the maze is a lovely day out. No way. Not with Morbid Angel about. It's a Maze of Torment. You're going to have a horrible, horrible time if you go in there, Maze of Torment. You got Chapel of Ghouls. That one's really cool because that's about a church, right? And there's like a priest in there and he's like, oh, I'm having a nice day. And then these ghouls come, right? And they like eat him. And I was like, man, that is the stuff right there. That's what you want from a death metal album, that. Yeah, the opening song is called Immortal Rights. You know, I just think rights for everybody, whether you're alive, dead or immortal. That's my thing. Suffocation. Once again, did the band called Suffocation come after this? I don't know. I'd have to look that up. Possibly. I'd imagine Morbid Angel are responsible for naming a lot of death metal bands. Visions from the Dark Side. You know, a bit of a Star Warsy type thing there. Damnation, Blasphemy, and Evil Spells. That's what the last song is called. Evil Spells. And that's what's kind of nice about Morbid Angel, because what I like, right, I love stuff that's a bit silly. There's it, and it's with its backing. Oh, nice. You know, what I like is for things to be done properly. I think good death metal is like a good horror movie. You've got to buy into the ideals and the sort of feeling of the whole thing, right? So it's about scary monsters usually. It's noisy, and it's just a real fun experience. You know, I love death metal, and I've often found people think people who like death metal are all going to be horrible and they're going to be into like murdering people and that, but it's not the case at all. Most death metal fans I know, big nerds like me. I mean, look at all my toys. You wouldn't think that I'm into death metal, but I am. I love it. It's the best. And I'm wearing a Morbid Angel t-shirt just to rep them. Yeah, that's all the Morbid Angel records I have. There are a few more that I haven't got yet. But they're, you know, I've got those ones because they're my favourites and I wanted to show them off. If people like this and watch it, I might do some more episodes. If they don't, then I won't. It's as simple as that, really. There's no great thing to it. So that was some records that I have. I might see you again next week. Thank you. Bye.
God transform me, this storm will cleanse me, civilize I shall not be this holy strain of love.